Okay, cool. Welcome, guys, back. This is I'm going to talk about visualization in the part of the mindset, and just a few things because visualization is so important to be successful. You need to see what you want, to imagine what you want, and I just want to spend a little bit of time on telling you why is it important. So the first one is the first step in achieving anything is imagining, because if you think about it, every single time you probably achieved something, you had a thought in your head first, and you didn't have anything in you, right? It started as a thought, as a feeling, and then you were able to take action and then translate it into the reality. And that's how things happen. That's how we do what we do. And so you want to visualize what you want and visualize it in as much detail as possible. If you can't picture yourself achieving a certain goal, and this is another important point, you probably won't achieve it because if you're not a really good visual person, that's okay. You can always condition yourself by just saying it. For example, I'm going to be the most successful product manager. And you condition it, you say it many times. I'm going to be a successful product manager. I'm going to be a successful product manager. And then it might sound weird, but you say it enough times, you believe it, and then you don't really, it's a part of reality. This is what happens with, this is how our mind works. If you condition it many times, then you keep remembering it, and it affects how you think, it affects how you work. So that is the beauty of conditioning. If you are not a very visual person, but if you are, you can always imagine it in how are you achieving the goal? What does it look like? What does it feel like to achieve that? And the biggest part why you want to do that is our mind, it can differentiate what is real, what is imaginable when you do that. So it starts to believe that that is the reality. And that is the best part, because that's what you want, right? You want to make sure that you are on track. You believe so much in this that the job you want is going to happen. There's no other way, okay? And regardless of what people are saying, so this is a super important part. It also important to say that visualization helps to put you in a resourceful emotional state, because when you visualize something and you're achieving the goal, you are so happy that you achieved what you worked so hard for. It feels great, doesn't it? And it just by doing that, by just imagining it, you put yourself in a better state, in better emotional state. The better state we're in, the peak state ideally, if you're in a peak state, you are the most resourceful person. You are the very best. Your mind thinks at the very best. You are really fast. You can execute quickly. That's how you achieve success. Your mind also filters out distractions because you know what your goals are. When you visualize and when you set goals. Have you had that feeling when you bought the car you always wanted, or maybe you were looking for a certain car and you test drove it, and then you walk in on the street and then you see this car all everywhere. You haven't noticed it before, but now you see it everywhere. Well, that's because our mind starts filtering it out because you focused on it before, right? Or the song, right? You hear a song that you like in restaurant or wherever, and then it just sticks with you, and then you suddenly start hearing it everywhere. You never noticed it before. It's whatever you focus on, you're going to achieve, and that's if you focus on something and if you visualize something, it helps you to cut through the clutter. So that's super important. And Tony Robbins, he is a master of talking about this, and he can explain it in a beautiful way, and he's got a lot of great techniques on how to visualize what to do so you keep yourself at the peak state, and that really makes a big difference compared to if you're just looking for a job in a normal way, right? So what else? What are some of the tools that can help you to excel in this area? Well, one of the tools that I thought was very cool and very helpful was NAC. It's neuroassociative conditioning. That this is something that Tony Robbins came up with, and it basically consists of 6 steps. and you could learn about it later on online. I actually will provide you a PDF document that Tony shares online, and this is a really cool methodology because it starts with understanding what you want, what are you looking to achieve. So you explain that, not what you don't want, but what you actually want. Like, what kind of job do you want? Why do you want the job, right? So you figure this out, then you go into learning, understanding, and writing down what prevents you from getting it. What are some of the things that you feel you're not good at, and why, right? The reason you want to look at what prevents you from getting it is you want to get leverage on yourself. You want to see how badly do you want that, and that is something that motivates you to go and do it. Because if you don't have leverage, the truth is you will not achieve it because you don't need it, right? And the only way to achieve the worthwhile goals is to have a burning desire. If you absolutely must do it, and it's different for everybody, but you need to have that big why. And it could be many reasons, could be a few big ones, but there has to be. And then you will be able to get further along in this process. The third one is you want to interrupt the pattern, because, so for example, you know what you want this job, you know that you absolutely want it, it's something that you wanted your whole life, you have the mission statement that says this is what I want, I love that, this is going to be my great new career. But then you want to interrupt your old behavior, your old way of submitting resumes. If you're submitting a resume and that's all you do, you want to change that, because that's not going to get you too far. And you want to remove the obstacles of that. So Tony explains how to do that in a better way. So you will learn about it in the document. And there are multiple ways. There's a few ways you could stop doing it, or you could say some weird words or do some weird actions that break the pattern, the one that you have, because we follow our patterns. And if you haven't noticed, the way we, for example, wake up, the way we in the morning, and then we do our coffee or tea or whatever, it's sort of a ritual because we've been doing it for so long. It's like we don't even think about it. It's like autopilot. And so it's the same thing with bad habits or bad old behavior, that you need to break it, and there are a few ways to do that. So after you do that, after you identify the method of that, then you want to instill the new behavior. So what exactly are you going to do, right? And the new behavior, hopefully for you, will be doing the active job search, doing something that is you are putting yourself out there, putting yourself and doing networking, building friendships, building relationship with people. This is what this program is about. And in this way, you're able to get out of the house and achieve much better results, way better results. So you break the old behavior, you replace it with a new behavior. It's really important to replace it with something, because if you don't find a substitute for that, you're going to break the behavior, but you're going to go back to it because there's nothing else for you to replace it with. So after you did that, amazing. But then how do you ensure that it lasts, right? That you keep doing it for a long time? Well, you want to condition yourself to the new behavior or pattern. And the way to condition yourself, it's you have to imagine yourself achieving the goal. You have to imagine yourself being at this peak state where you're at your best, you achieved all you wanted, right? And for me, like for example, it's just being on stage and talking about technology to a couple thousand people in California. And when I imagine that, it just feels phenomenal, right? And so you want to have that sort of picture, and then just like have the description on what exactly did you do, like what kind of work are you doing. And it could be a static picture, or it could be a motion picture. It could be just words, but you want to kind of repeat that, and then have another image where you have an old behavior, so you can compare to that. Like you had an old behavior, and then you associate all your feelings of pain, all your feelings of discomfort with that old behavior, and you have a new behavior where, in your case, for example, it's you found a job, it's phenomenal, right? It feels great. You're starting out, this is your first day, you're ready to meet super smart people, and you're gonna get the salary, you're gonna get new friendships, and it feels great, doesn't it? And so you want to have these two different images that you're able to flip around. And so next time you're like, oh no, I'm gonna sleep a little longer. You just have that image of you being successful. You immediately snap out of that state, and you know what's at stake. You know what's important, and that's how you condition yourself. And then also the last step is you do ecology test. You just see if it works. You want to test this whole thing in your mind. You read through it. You imagine it. Is it really what I want? Is there enough leverage to actually, do I really care about that goal? Can I break that pattern? You could test it out. Does it really make sense? Will I do it? Is it maybe embarrassing, or I can't just, maybe I need another alternative? Does the new behavior make sense? And then does conditioning, when I do the conditioning, when I imagine this new state of me getting a job, whatever you say, whatever the description is, do I feel anything? Like, am I really emotional? Am I really excited? Does it excite me? So you just go through these things and see if it all works. If it doesn't, you go back and redo that. And that is neuro-associative conditioning. You'll read more about it, and then there's also some information online which I would highly encourage you to check out. So the benefits, it allows you to create new behaviors. So what you always wanted, and it conditions yourself to stay at the peak state, because one of the reasons why I wanted to include it in this program was because I give you all the tools, I give you the strategy, I give you the tactics that work. But then if you just do it 1 hour a day, or maybe do it 1 hour a week, it's not going to work. And the benefits of that of this whole program is that you're going to learn something new that you can use for not only your professional life, but for anything that you really want in life. And it also gives you potential to change your life. That's another point, because it applies to anything. You want to find a boyfriend, a girlfriend, your future wife, whatever that is, it still applies. Those principles are the same, and you could use them to a great effect. It helped me a lot, so I would highly encourage you to check it out. Thanks, guys. I hope that you find this lesson valuable. I will link the resource for neuroassociative conditioning at the end of the course in a PDF format. And then if you have questions, just message me. We'd be happy to answer any questions.